Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Let's Talk About It. Hi, Anastasia.
Hey, Miss Deborah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. We are so excited to have you here with us today because you could have been anywhere else. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of your comments, your likes, your shares, your prayers. So keep them coming. We so appreciate it. Well, we have another great one for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the company he keeps, the power of associations in a young man's life. And I know there are many young men out there as well as mothers, and you know that you are most like the 5 people that you hang around. So your associations can have a huge impact on your life. Now that association can be so positive and uplifting, give you what you need on a daily basis. However, those associations can also have a downside. So we're going to tell you today about the pros and the cons of the associations and how it impacts young people.
Yes, we are, Miss Deborah. And I want to start off by saying that we are not the ones to tell you who to be friends with, who not to be friends with, who to choose to keep in your circle, and who to let go of. However, after living a little bit more life than you have, we're probably a bit more qualified to say or advise you on how to make better decisions about who it is that you keep around you and give you those questions that will help you to think and reflect on what this person means to me, what this person can possibly do to me or for me, and how my friendship and association with this person can change my life for the better or change it for the worse. Being moms, especially moms of boys, we both know that when you try to tell a teenager what to do, they're going to do the exact opposite.
Most
So, no, that's not what we're here to do. But if you listen keenly, take the advice with you after this stream has ended, and mull over it a little bit, then maybe it could help you with a decision that you may need to make in the next few hours, tomorrow, or even in the years to come. Now, quick question. Have you seen the movie Look Both Ways? No?
no.
Miss Deborah, it is a nice movie. It is this girl that's in college, and she had this friend who he's been her friend throughout college. But this was the last party of the semester. It was going to be her last party before graduation. And she only had one more test to take. And this was just the shindig of all shindigs. And that night, she decided that she would sleep with this friend. Slept with the friend and missed her period.
Wow.
And so it's called Look Both Ways because the movie literally plays through both directions of what would happen to her in her life if she was pregnant and also if she wasn't pregnant. They did this whole scene where she's in the bathroom with her best friend and she took the pregnancy test and held her breath, and the friend read it. And in 1 second, it said that it was negative, and she walked out of the bathroom and they went back to continue drinking, and it was awesome. And then it pans back over, and you see that they're there, and she's telling her that she's pregnant. And so this movie is one that I would encourage you to see if you haven't seen it yet. Remember, it's called Look Both Ways. And it is a great summation of what it is that we're talking about today. We are talking about those pros and cons to your friend circle, to your influencers, to your decisions. And let's look at those pros first. So, when we're looking at the pros, you know, we want to look at identity and confidence. You determine your identity. You enrich your confidence. Now, I know that sounds a little strange to say that you enrich your confidence, but you do. You treat it like a seed in the ground, and you have got to nurture it. You have got to water it. You have got to look after it. You've got to keep those weeds away from it. And you've got to make sure that this cultivates into something strong and rooted and tough, because the world is not gentle.
Mm.
And so when you are looking and thinking about your confidence, think of it as a seed. Good friends reinforce your self worth and help you to define your values. If you and your friend group or someone in the are not sharing the same values, then you've got to consider, okay, is this going to help my seed to grow, or is it going to hinder its growth? There are some values that your friends may have that may have a very positive effect on you. You may have one of those friends that says, listen, I want to hang out with you, but I can't right now because my dad has a rule that before we leave the house, I have to do my homework. That's a great core value. That's a great character trait. That may be something that you can pick up and learn, because in the time that you're waiting for him to be free from doing his homework, you can do your own.
Mm.
Let's think about accountability. Healthy peer groups foster responsibility. They set goals and they promote positive behaviors. Responsibility. It goes hand in hand with accountability. And you know what else goes hand in hand with those two things? Integrity.
Mm.
Not because they all end with T, but they are that water that helps to feed and nourish that seed of your confidence. When you know your integrity, you have the baseline on your integrity that helps you to be responsible. It then goes into your accountability because you are taking responsibility for yourself, because you are standing 10 toes down on the decisions that you made, and your integrity is going to ensure that the same person that you are in front of whomever is the same person you are behind their back. You are the same, you make the same decisions, you stand firm, you stand strong, no matter where you are and who you're with. If you're not finding the ability to do that in your friends group, then maybe you should think about the support and the belonging of this group. Positive friends encourage one another to strive for success, good education. They help them to strive in their faith and in their discipline. Of course, you know that your belief system is going to be a part of this conversation. If it isn't, then where would we be? Let's be honest. What do you believe in? What keeps you going? What helps you to hold your head high? That's the support. And the belonging is your friends group. The belonging is your associations. Do you truly belong there? There is a picture that you can probably search on Google. It is a whole, almost whole, garlic bulb with just one piece missing. And the piece that is empty was filled with a tangerine. Weird concept, right? But the lesson learned is just because you fit there doesn't mean that you belong there.
Mm.
Your support and your belonging. Are you being supported in your positive decisions? Are you being supported and encouraged when it comes to being safe? When it comes to setting goals? When it comes to education? When it comes to your discipline? Are you being supported and encouraged? When you think of these things, maybe you should think about your motivation. What is your motivation to get a 4.0 this year instead of the 3.89 that you've been getting for the past 2 semesters? What is your motivation to lose that 10 pounds that you've been trying to lose for such a while and it just hasn't happened yet? Keyword being yet. What is your motivation? What is that thing that helps you to get up in the mornings and say, you know what, today is going to be the day I am going to get this done and I'm going to get it done now? Your associations are important to all of these aspects of your life. No one is meant to walk this earth alone. No one is meant to live and be alone. And if your association that is keeping you back or that is not helping you is blood association, then decisions need to be made. How can I change the situation for myself? How can I find myself in a better spot? How can I change the trajectory of my life? Maybe it will come through exposure to opportunity. Positive associations can help you with your exposure to opportunity. The right connections can open doors to new experiences, to leadership roles, or even to career paths that you never thought that you would have been interested in or that you would thrive in. But you have to open up yourself first. Maybe you need to make friends with that geeky kid that's in the corner who doesn't really bother with anybody, but he is a tech genius and you know that you want to get into the tech industry. He may be your gateway. There's power in your associations. And lastly, when we're thinking of associations, I mentioned the friend groups, I mentioned family. But if those two groupings are not the areas that you're finding that positive association, then maybe you can look to a coach or a mentor. Now I'm going to give you just a few reasons on why, if your positive associations are not coming through your peer groups, if it's not coming through your household and your family, then maybe a coach or a mentor would be your best avenue. Miss Deborah has her plug in here every week. You're looking for a coach, you're looking for a mentor, you've got one. Ready, available, willing. And on that note, we're going to invite you to make sure that you like, share, comment. Don't forget it. We need you to do it. Go ahead. But back to this coach or mentor. They provide guidance and clarity when making difficult decisions. Think about that hard decision that you had to make recently. Wouldn't it have been better? Maybe it would have been easier if you had that person that you can call to help you through it, to talk about it, to weigh out those pros and cons along with you. Having a coach or mentor, it offers constructive feedback that accelerates skills development. As I said, Miss Deborah and I, we've raised boys, so we know. We try to tell you what to do, you're going to do the exact opposite. To a new parent, we can be a coach or mentor because we've already been through it and we've already gone through that path. but that's in parenthood. In other aspects, you look for someone that is at the place where you're trying to go. You look for someone who has achieved what it is you're looking to achieve. And that's the person that you go to for constructive feedback. They're going to tell you the pitfalls to avoid so that you don't have to stumble the way that they did to get to where they are. A coach or a mentor, they will help you to identify the blind spots that you may have in your life or the areas that you need to grow in. They'll help to boost your confidence by affirming your strengths and your progress. They will help you to set realistic and meaningful goals and create an action plan. And best of all, they support personal and professional development with tailored advice. So you may have someone that's speaking to you and they're doing their very best to try, but they have not gotten to where you want to be. A fisherman cannot truly tell you about the pitfalls and the benefits of being a carpenter. It hasn't been his life experience. And so you speak to someone who has had the life experiences. Even if it's someone who is in a place that you don't want to be, maybe you can have a conversation with them to learn the pit holes to avoid, the directions to stay away from, the influences that are not for you. But remember, it's those positive associations that matter. Those associations, those people around you that are pouring into you positively, that are looking for your best interests, those ones that want to see you do well and see you succeed. Those are the associations that we're going to build on, and we're going to try and make sure that they are just like our confidence, those little seeds that we're going to foster and make sure that they grow to be big and small and rooted, big and tall, big and small, big and tall and rooted firmly, strongly in God. What are your thoughts, Miss Deborah?
I totally agree.
I saw you shaking your head when I was talking about raising boys.
Hey, you know I agree. They gonna give you a run for your money, but I tell you, what if you want them to do something, talk about the opposite.
Yeah, that's the best way to get them.
Yeah, because my mom, because she don't know what she's talking about, so I am not doing that. So, but it is interesting. But a lot of times they do listen, and you won't know until years from now to see the impact of what you work with them and try to teach them. But it gets interesting.
It does. New parents, keep the faith, hold firm. There's hope on the horizon.
Yes, most definitely. Oh, so we appreciate you tuning in here with us. And if you are just tuning in, we are talking about the company he keeps, the power of associations in a young man's life. And if you just tuned in, you have missed Anastasia's point of view, and it's not necessarily her point of view, but she was giving you those tidbits on if how associations can be a pro in your life. They can, do some things that's going to help you out. You can look at it in a positive manner. But just like, there are some foods that are good for you, there are some foods that are not good for you. The same thing with associations. There are some that, hey, will make you do better than you would by yourself. And then there's others that will try to pull you down and will pull you down if you are not careful. So I am going to talk about those cons. Okay, because even the strongest young man can be influenced by the people that he surrounds himself with. And during the teen years, young adult years, that need for belonging and having your identity, it really, really populates and stands out. So a lot of times you'll see it more so than you will other times. But believe me, you can see the impact and what it will do and how it can harm you. So one of the first things I'm going to talk about is peer pressure and conformity. Peer pressure and conformity. Because everybody wants to fit in, nobody wants to stand out. So what do you do then? So you're craving that acceptance. You want to be the one that people look up to when they see you. That's my dog over there. It's my boy. We run together. We do this. You fitting in with them. You forgot about all those things that your parents taught you. Who you are. Who you were born to be. What God spoke to your parents before you were even born. You forget about all that because you're looking at the peer pressure, what social media is showing you, and that's what you want to do. So if you're not careful, you will fall for the negative end of that. And the parents, some things to watch out for are sudden changes in clothing style. They've always been on the more conservative side, want their clothes neat, all of this, matching. All of a sudden, it's like, what is that you got on? You look like you just rolled out of the bed. You pull those clothes out the dryer. What's wrong? Speech. You send them to the best schools. Your family's educated. They enunciate those words. But all of a sudden, it's like you have to strain to understand what it is that they're saying because they're using slang words, they're chopping off words, using half words, and you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Their interests change. They may have been interested in chess and sports. Now, not so much. They just want to hang somewhere. New friends. They begin to get new friends, but in the past, they were always ready to introduce you to their friends. Now, you may hear them mention names, but you never meet these people. They leave. Well, you told me you were going, but you didn't say where you were going. So they're secretive about what they're doing. Their phone used to be laid out. You knew the password. All of a sudden, they've changed the password, or the phone is flipped over or hidden when you come in a room. Something is changing. Moms, don't start asking questions and giving them the fifth, the third degree, rather, third degree. You have to be very, very nonchalant about asking them questions. Oh, so I see you got some new friends. That's nice. What do they like to do for fun? But you're trying to get information, but you don't want to be accusatory because if you do, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to shut down. So you have to play devil's advocate and, of just having that conversation. But when you see those type changes, you need to step it up, see what's happening, ask those questions because something is not quite right. The second thing is exposure to risky behaviors. So, negative peers, like you may have someone that's into gangs or they may want to just do things that are illegal. I just don't want to do right. A group of people, they just don't want to do right. So I'm going to drink because I know I'm not old enough. I'm going to smoke because I know people say it's not good for us. I'm going to just drive like 20, 30 miles over the speed limit because I can. I got money in my pocket, but I'm going to go in the store and I'm just going to take something just to show my boys that I can. I'm going to talk about all my conquests because I can, whether it's true or not. This is what starts going on. What moms have to watch for is all of a sudden your son is pulling money out of his pocket. You're like, okay, he doesn't work. He goes to school and he have after school activities. I'm not giving him that kind of money. Where's he getting all this money from? All of a sudden, he wants to hang out late. He has a curfew. He knows what the curfew is. It hadn't changed. But they come in late just because. Oh, my watch. It stopped running. I didn't know it. Then you begin to smell things. What is that? Let me go in here. I thought I know I didn't leave my pot on the stove. I smell something smoky. What is that? You smell alcohol. Or you might even smell a canoe cologne. Why? Because they're trying to hide those scents. Marijuana, that's very distinct smell. Like, okay, so they're going to put on cologne or whatever. So if you are smelling something out of the ordinary, their chances are there's something risky, some risky type behavior going on. And when you ask about it, they go on the defensive. You just might ask, oh, you got on a new cologne? Why are you asking me that? I just asked. I was smelling something different. So that should, when I talk about really listening with your ears, your eyes, what they're not saying, you got to really listen and pay attention. So then you got to really stay alert. But you're going to react not with anger or, I know you're doing something wrong, because what's going to happen? You're going to continue to do it. You got to remember your experiences, pull on your wisdom. Don't forget to pray, ask for discernment. But when you start working with your children early, that's why I say it's better to train early than try to fix later. A lot of times when you have those ethics and values in them, though they may fall for the risky behaviors or whatever, it may not linger. If you ask them subtly, let them know, and then drop some little hints without pressuring them, telling them what they're not going to do, who they're not going to hang with, chances are you will be able to turn that around. It's not worth it. I'm not going to tell moms, but she's right. These guys, they aren't up to any good. They don't want to be anything. Nobody in their family is ever going to completed high school, let alone going to college. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to be anybody. Why should I drag myself down into that level? So if you train them up right, they may sway a little bit, but eventually they should bounce back to what you've taught them. Another one is disrespect for authority. Oh, they got all the answers. Now they know everything. Grown people, just old people with old ideas. They don't know anything. You've taught your children to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, or yes or no. They're just, what? Old people. It's like, what is this? What is this all of a sudden disrespect? So you have to watch for their tone. Do they have more of a rebellious attitude when they're talking to you? They're showing less accountability. Remember, Anastasia talked about accountability. They're downplaying things when you say, wonder why those young men are doing that. Everybody does it. Why you coming down on them? Because that's not right. I mean, just because everybody does it, if everybody jumps off a bridge, you gonna jump? So you have to kind of turn around on them. But remember, you got to keep your cool. If you're just really angry, that's not the time to bring it up. You want to help them, but you need them listening to you. So it's got to be a way that you say it. Remember our actions. So moms, keep that pleasant attitude. Just ask, well, seems like you're changing. What's going on? Something, I need to address with someone, or, is it individuals you're meeting now? What is it? It's just something I'm seeing different. And if you think that it's something that you can't really talk to them, sometimes moms raising boys and you're single, you have to have those crucial conversations. I know I did. Hey, I don't care what the conversation was, I was talking about it. But if you're not comfortable doing that, find a reliable mentor. Going back to what Anastasia said, those mentors, but someone that you trust. You don't just say, oh, that's a man, I'm going to get him to talk to my son. No. Know who that man is. Know their background, what they're about. Because if somebody's going to pour into your child, you want it to be someone that is a good association, because again, this is another association. You want them to be a good association. You have to be very, very careful. Then identify confusion. What happens? Wrong associations can make a young man just get all kind of distorted thoughts of what things are, what things mean, how you act, how do you treat young ladies? You don't have to do anything. This is, men supposed to do this and women supposed to do this. They get all kind of ideas or whatever. So you have to be careful. What's going on? Is my child confused? What's confusing them? Pray, ask for discernment. Is it something that I'm doing that's confusing them? But you watch for what kind of language are they using? Is it something different? Are they acting like they come from different cultures and lifestyles than they have? You're always, it may be low income, but you're always clean, respectable. Present yourself in a nice way. You don't have to have a lot of money. Are you middle class and you're doing the same things, but all of a sudden, they got to have name brand this and they got to have this. You don't have that kind of money. Where are they going to get it from? So you don't want them to get distorted ideas of what makes them a good person. It's your heart. It's your faith. It's not clothes. It's not a new whip or anything like that. But you have to watch these things, what they're doing, what they're saying. Parents, keep reminding them that their manhood is earned through integrity, not image, integrity. Celebrate the positive role models around you. Oh, there's Mr. So-and-so. I just admire him. His wife died early. His children were small, but he's been such a light in that household. He keeps them all with their, make sure they go to school. He's at every activity. Oh, I just admire that. Oh, he keeps his yard so nice. He does this, he does that. He's very respectable. Oh, look how he opens the door for his daughter. Now, it's his daughter, but he's teaching her how a young man should treat her. So some of those type things is what you want to do. Now, emotional numbness or isolation. So you got these toxic friendships. Who do they want to hang with? They don't want to hang with the family anymore. They want to hang around these people that are doing these things that are just all out of character. People that are angry all the time. They're doing mean things or whatever. So is your child now being short with you? Are they being irresponsible? Are they all of a sudden being withdrawn? Before they were family oriented, now they don't want too much to do with the family. What's going on? They have just, you can't say anything to them unless they just bite your head off. You, again, have to stay calm and collected. You got to be the bigger person. You're going to create conversations that don't look like you are judging, you are bashing them down, but you're talking about, you just in the car riding, and you're talking about, I'm so glad when y'all were young, I began to take y'all to church so y'all could learn how to live your life, what things are wrong, why they are wrong, why you shouldn't do them, how you should treat people, how you should love people like you want to be loved, and how you want to be treated. I am just so glad that I started y'all in the right way. And that's what I want y'all to be around, people that are showing y'all good examples. But you want to just have those light conversations, but get your point across. Because a lot of times they know what they're doing wrong, but it's those negative associations around them. But you got to pull them back in. You got the power to do what? Pull them back in. And so you've got to do that. And then, hey, legal and safety risk. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Things are happening. They're getting suspended from school. They can get arrested. They can be around violent people while these things happening. Before they happen, you have to explain. If you do X, Y, Z, I noticed that the young man I saw you on the basketball court. I heard he got the police arrested, pulled him over the other night, and arrested him. Is he? Do you know if he's still in jail or he's out? What? Let them know. Do you know what's going on and what happens because of your choices? Your choices have consequences, so you have to point those things out. Your child come home, all of a sudden they got a black eye, they limping. What's wrong? What's going on? Oh, I fell. Oh, really? You fell? What's going on? You gotta perk up those ears and see those things that you got to see and hear with your eyes and your ears. You just got to be all over the place trying to figure out what's going on so you can nip it in the bud. You got to listen. When they think you're not listening, I know my son used to say, Mom got eyes in the back of her head. She see everything here because I'm looking, trying to find out so I can turn it around. So you have to do some of those things, have those real discussions, tell them the consequences. Don't try to keep it from them. Don't sugarcoat things. Tell them the truth. Like people say, they used to tell them, well, where does babies come from? Oh, they come from the pumpkin patch or the stork bring them. No, that's not where no babies come from. You keep telling your kids that they get to be teenage, you still telling them these things. You're not telling them the facts that they need to know. Then when they mess up, you say, well, you didn't tell them. You didn't tell them how their body works, how their body functions, what happens, what they need to do. What are some of the things that you can be proactive about? If you don't teach them, they won't know. So then you can't go, No, the is on you because you have to have those conversations and teach them. So yes, those associations are going to be in their lives from now until they breathe their last breath. Some of those associations can help them because someone is always assigned to assist you. But yet and still, they can hurt you as well. And I'm going to go ahead and give my closing remarks. And I want you to think about Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Now, a mother's voice can't follow her child everywhere, but her prayers can. Cover your children with prayers. In the morning, at night, pray for them, cover them with prayers, speak about them, speak life into them, wisdom in them, let them know, things that are and what's not is not. And like I always say, your name means something. It takes 1 second to ruin a good reputation, but it takes blood, sweat, years and tears to build or rebuild one. So you want to make sure that you are doing those things that you need to do, teaching your child, talking to your child, because they are going to run into all types of people and you want them to be equipped. Will they're not going to be perfect because no one is perfect. Will they make mistakes? Yes. But, Like they say, always say, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is older, he won't depart from him. How many people do you see that they come up in church and they know right from wrong? They go out there and they do some things, but they come back. They come back because they know in their hearts and hearts. Sometimes they just, just get lost, but they can overcome it. So we hope, I hope, because Anastasia is going to give her closing remarks, but I hope that something that we said has helped you and will help you help your sons, and that something that's worthwhile for you to pass on. Because associations, I'm going to leave it at that.
Miss Deborah, you hope that there was something said, and I know that there was something said. There has been too much great information in this one few minutes of your life, my life, our lives, that it should not be shared and it should not be given to somebody else. And so we really do hope that, in the value that you find in this, you would share that value and share it with whomever else it is that you know or you feel could use these words of wisdom. And remember that those associations, whether positive or negative, they will have an impact.
Yes, thank you all so much. Remember, share, share, share. If you missed any of this, go back and look at it on Facebook or YouTube. And I want to also remind everyone, if you have not heard this, but this month we are doing our final fundraiser for the year, our 30, Giving 30. So we're asking 30 of our fans, our families, our followers to donate $30 towards Build Your Best Life. It is used, if you don't know, Build Your Best Life is a 501c3, and our niche is teenage and young adult males. They don't have money. Most of them don't. So we have the message on the post, on our podcast. Also, we have the book, Build Your Best Life. I want to be able, when we go into schools, when we go into detention centers, when we go out talking to these individuals, that we can give them a book to read. That's basic principles that they can have with them, that they can read over and over. And it's plain for them. There's people in the book that they can relate to, that they know, like a Michael Jordan, Tyler Perry, Sean Khan, who is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're different people, and they find out different things about them in their lives that they probably did not know they overcame and how they did it. So please think about it, pray about it, and we would love for you to partner with us, giving $30 this month. And it is on the website how you can give that via Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. So I appreciate that. And thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. We will have Denise Dinkins of Dallas, Texas on our podcast, and we will be talking about Upward Bound. So 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Central Time. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if that is all, I'm going to say good night. Remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. See you next week. Bye-bye.